We're going to come back and do another video game review. This one just got done with the Adventure Island 2 playthrough, which was a 3-part one. Use save states on here because the games are trial and error, and a lot of the stages it's the first time I've been going through them, and it's one of those things where you have to kind of try to remember where some of the enemies, some of the harder parts are and things. So we were using save states on some of those, just reloading on parts that we had to do. There's a level select code and there's an infinite lives code on here. The infinite lives code is not really it's not really good anyway, because the only thing that you can do on the infinite lives code is you'll keep what you had. Like if you had any of the extra dinosaurs or extra axes or anything like that, you'll keep your inventory when you continue, but you won't have but as with like when you do get a game over screen, there's a continue option, and they both take you back to the beginning of the island that you're on. So in theory, I guess you could use it if you wanted to keep what you had, but mostly it's just you can use either one. And then the world select one would be something if you would use if you played the game, didn't save it, but wanted to come back. I thought about doing that as well, and then I just decided just to use the save state so I could actually get through there. So we could show you guys what it was and everything, and have get through it. Couple things about the game. This one's different from the first one. You get four. You can potentially get 4 different dinosaurs. I didn't find any different weapons or weapon upgrades. So you still have the axes, kind of like you do on the first one. I think on the first one there's a couple of weapon upgrades. But we'll have to go play through that one at some point, make save states on that one, and go through there again, and see if we can't beat that as well. The first one, in my opinion, is the hardest. The second one is my favorite out of the 3. There's 3 of them, and the second one's my favorite out of the 3. You have like they say he's like a red, but I think he's a fuchsia colored dinosaur, and he uses projectiles that come out like fireballs. The blue dinosaur has the tail whip one that has the I guess it's like an electric shock come out from his tail. The pterodactyl shoots the ball drops the rocks and goes flying across the screen. And the other one's a water dinosaur that you can ride in the water. That they say it makes it easier. I don't know that it really makes it any easier. I mean, it's the same thing. So you can just swim through and do it yourself on that. You definitely don't want the pterodactyl, because the pterodactyl takes off the most life out of the other ones. The other ones take their life. Your life goes down a little bit faster, but when you have the pterodactyl, your life goes down a whole lot faster. So you'll see on the playthrough, that's why I didn't want the pterodactyl. I don't use a skateboard on the game either. I know some of the people use a skateboard. I don't use a skateboard. The funny thing about this game and the other ones are it's a one-hit kill, and you do have a life bar. And that life bar, if it runs out, it's like a timer on some of these other games. When it runs out, you lose a life there. Well, you have to keep eating fruit. I guess it's like fruits and vegetables and stuff throughout the level to stay alive. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, you're trying to dodge enemies and everything else in the terrain and stuff. So there's that. If you're on a dinosaur, or if you're on the skateboard and you get hit, or if you run into a rock, those will disappear. So in instance, you get 2 hits then. First hit, you either lose a dinosaur or lose a skateboard. The second one, you die. You can only have up to, I think it's a total of 9, it's either 9 or 10 lives. And the good thing about the game, another good thing about it is when you get a dinosaur or like an extra axe, or if you know that there's going to be an axe at the beginning of a stage, you can put one of your axes back, like it's an inventory, and then pick up the axe again, and then just use that axe through the stage. If for some reason you die in the stage, you don't come back with the axe, so you would still have the ones in your inventory that you've saved up. Same thing with like the dinosaurs. We ran into the eggplant a few times. The eggplant on all 3 games drains your life a little bit faster. Those are some things that you want to avoid. The majority of the game was not terribly difficult. It's just when you start getting up to those higher levels where it starts getting a little bit worse. The bosses, for the most part, if you watch the playthroughs, the bosses, for the most part, were not that difficult. Most of them have patterns. Most of them you just chuck the axe at and just go wild whenever whenever you can hit them, and just go crazy with the axe and just throw it as fast as you can. There's not a whole lot to say about the game. I really like the game. I think it's a good game. I think it's the best out of the 3. Now, like tomorrow, I will be doing a Friday Night Flashback of number 3. I'm not 100% familiar with a lot of number 3. I did play around with it yesterday a little bit, and it kind of is like number 2, but it's not 100% like number 2. So it's got things of it that are inspired by the second one, but it not 100%. Another thing that we wanted to tell y'all about, I'm going to tell y'all about is I got a bunch of games to go through. A lot of games to go through. Some of them I'm going to do playthroughs on. Some of them I'm not. We're still going to be doing the Friday Night Flashbacks, but at other points, we're going to review some of these games. We're going to play them on different nights. They're not all going to be on Friday Night Flashbacks, because if I had them all on Friday Night Flashbacks, we'd be here for years and years and years. But even with me doing them the way that I'm going to be doing them, there's still a lot to be done. But take, for example, there's one coming up called, I think it's called Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. I can't beat it. I know I can't beat it. I want to show you guys it, but I can't beat it. So it's going to be one that I'm not going to do a playthrough on. Then again, here in about a week or so, there's going to be an Adventure of Lolo's 2. I already covered the first Adventures of Lolo. I played the first game. I'll give you that review here in just a minute of that. But there's 3 of those too, and I will play through those, because those are games that I can get through, things I can get through. I may have to have some help on those, but I should be able to get them. They're puzzles. They start off real easy, and then they get harder as they go along. So, but I want some of these other games that we're not going to go through, that we're not going to do playthroughs on, I want to just kind of do a couple of those maybe a day. Or a couple of those, maybe not a day, but maybe when I have time, like in the evenings or something like that. And just give you guys just a heads up, and then give you a review after it. That way, we'll save some of the better ones for the Friday Night Flashbacks. That way, you'll get a little insight on games that I think are good, and games that I think that we're going to do playthroughs of, and then we'll do the playthroughs during the week. That will give me enough time to get the playthroughs, or try to get the playthroughs done before the next one comes up, because I'm not going to try to beat every game. I can't beat every game. There's some of them I cannot beat. Even with save states, I cannot beat them. And that's just the thing. You know, I'm not going to be able to beat them. And I'm not going to sit here and try to beat them when, you know, it can't. I can't do it. You know, when I can't do it. But I do want to show you guys games. I do want to show you games. I do want to show you portions of the games. Like I said, there's the Adventures in the Magic Kingdom coming up. Adventures of, I think it's called Adventures of Dino. I don't know if it's Dino Riki or if it's Dino Ricky. I've tried to play the game. I can't really do anything with it. So, you may look at some other places for gameplay footage on that, because I'll do some gameplay footage, but and give you my thoughts and ideas on it. But some of these are just some of them I'm not going through. I'm just not going through. I'll give you the basic thought process and what's up with it and everything, and information, but I'm not going through them. Adventures of Lolo was the one I was talking about earlier, before we get into the second and third one. Lolo is one of the many characters on the NES that has he's appeared in other games, and they've even kind of used him a little bit more now. Lolo is a little blue ball with 2 eyeballs and feet. You played the game. It's a puzzle solving game. On the first one, you have to get all the hearts in the level, and the door opens. The bad thing is, sometimes when you get all the hearts, the bad guys come alive and they try to come and get you. You have to figure out in each level how to get the hearts, how to block the bad guys, or to eliminate where they can do anything to you to kill you. The game has a password system that you can use to whatever floor you're on. And you can do it infinite times. The puzzles are kind of easy on the lower levels, and then once you get on up, the higher levels, they become a little bit more complex and a little bit harder. Like I said, went through the first one. I did have to have some help. I do have to have some help. I'm not great on puzzle games. I do have to have some help. I do like these games. My father liked these games whenever I was younger and things. He played them. I enjoy the games. I like all 3 of them. They're all 3 very good games. They are infuriating a little bit when you can't figure the puzzle out, but for the most part, they're good. They're still good games. They're still good games. They're enjoyable. But they do take some brain power to try to figure out some of the puzzles. So, you do things like that. But the plot kind of is that Princess, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with this, I think her name's Lala. Princess Lala, she's like Lolo, but she's pink. She gets kidnapped, and that's why he's going through those stages. It's like in a castle, so he's going through those stages in a castle, going up through there, trying to defeat the bad guys. There's really no bosses in the game to speak of. It's just enemies and puzzles. So there's really no like bosses or anything that you have to do there. Oh. Excuse me. The enemies range from simple enemies that just kind of stand there to Medusa heads that shoot at you, that you have to have stuff in front of so that they can't hit you. Because basically, if anything hits you, it's death. But there's one enemy that if you hit them, I think there's these big green things. If you hit them, they'll stop where they're at, and they won't move. You get some power ups as you go through, like ladders, things like that. But you also get power ups that are you can shoot a fiery thing at a character, and it turns them into an egg. You can either shoot them again and knock them off of the screen, or you can move that egg around, and once the egg hatches, they'll be there. You can use that a couple different ways. You can use it as a walkway. When they're an egg, you can move them where you need to. They block stuff off. Just different things like that. But you have to try to figure it out for each level. Won't always technically announce on like Facebook or any of these. If we're doing a short playthrough with a review of the game, you'll just have to kind of check in. That's why, like we tell you in the group and things, and on YouTube, you need to subscribe, or even on like Facebook, if you're in the group and things, to get notifications. That way you know when we're putting another video or so out. I think Jim's been working, so it's going to kind of fall on me to put the videos out that are going to be more of the videos that are going to be out in the retro. So we'll do that, and in the meantime, he'll probably post some sometime in the near future of the newer stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But until next time, just keep your eyes open, just watch for those notifications, and just we'll see what we're going to do. Like I said, there's a lot of games, and we're going to try to get through a lot of them. And then once we get through the Nintendo ones, maybe we might go to the Sega Genesis. I'm not sure if we're going to do Sega or Super Nintendo next. And just kind of show you how they evolve after a while, after we get all the way through. We won't be playing any unlicensed games or hacked games. I have those on an emulator, but if it's not made by a company or by a company that that I might be familiar with, then we're probably not going to do those. So, but I want to show you the ones that are there. So until next time, we'll see you then. Like I said, keep those notifications on. We'll see you later.